Can you rank these rap dances from the lamest to best?
Got you.
Shmoney dance, stanky leg, lean back, cat daddy, yayo dance.
If we go from lamest, I would say stanky leg.
Okay. And then
Cat daddy.
Cat daddy, lean back, yayo
Lean
dance,
back, yayo dance, shmoney. That was a good question.
My guess is that in your 25 years on this planet, you've had to deal with some severe hangovers. And your life is not like mine. Like, you can't just nurse 64 ounces of Gatorade, smoke a little weed, and watch Netflix and just sort of rest it off. So it leads me to believe that you have to have some sort of ritual or some sort of hangover cure that you use.
God, that's such a good question. When I like come, it like kind of like relieves like everything.
Shakes that etch a sketch clean.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite interview I've ever done in my life.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people try to be cheesy about shit, and I think that's what's cool about you is you give it straightforward. I mean, I've watched you, and so you're straightforward, honest, and I think from the first interview when somebody does that, you got to figure and sense them out. A lot of people do interviews. You can sense them out a lot and see what they're feeling.
So I'm fascinated by the idea of Camp Awesome, and all these sketches that don't see the light of day.
Camp Awesome, what the fuck is that sketch?
Isn't that the purgatory that you guys put the sketches that don't make the to the light of day?
Asking the deepest, most referential shit?
We can't even remember that.
We're blind.
But that is correct, Sean.
So,
Sean, I'm having a stroke.
if you were mayor of New York, what would be your first order of business? What would be the day one action?
Okay, this is a good one. I really think that the answer is to constantly maintain healthy and equal opportunity for competition in this country. The Republicans are constantly trying to remove competition and create monopolies, create industries that are too big to fail, hoping that then the money trickles down. It doesn't work. But then on the other side, you have to help the smaller businesses absorb this and also help the small, mid-sized businesses to retain talent. Businesses that you could open or I could open, they're not available as options. We allow these things to get so big and monopolized that for dudes like us on the ground, I mean, what can you create? We have to maintain competition, and we have to help build more opportunities for people to be small business owners.
I know you love Chipotle.
How do you know that? I
Because we do our research.
Wow. I don't even think I knew that. I'm realizing things about myself here.
It's interesting to think about rap dads, to think about rappers having everyday dad issues. And you're a rap dad yourself.
Absolutely.
When you go to like the ballet classes or you drop your son off at MMA, like, do you find that the coaches, the other young dads,
Get your notes, huh?
do they talk to you like Reggie, or do they think of you as Redman?
Good fucking question. Some that feel that they're heavily educated in the hip hop game, they know who Wu-Tang is. They know to call me Reggie besides Redman. Some people might show their cockiness and do that, like, yeah, Reggie, I know you, yeah, I'm up. And then there's Redman, like, hey, Redman. And, white people say Redman. And black people, they say Redman and shit, and white people go Redman. I like that respect, too. That means that they know. They be like, Redman? Like, yeah, Redman.
All right, so this last one, I had a feeling this guy would be your favorite. I don't know if he is, but I have a feeling he has a special place in your heart, all right? You ready?
Let's see.
Is it Val Venus?
Oh, Val Venus. Hello, ladies. Definitely my favorite wrestler.
Val Venus is your favorite?
It was.
Are you a little bit impressed
He was.
that I
I'm impressed
backloaded
that you
Val
knew it.
Venus?
I'm impressed. I am very impressed.
And move on. You have a very interesting line in that. You talk about how you basically have to do your own interviews because everybody in hip-hop media more or less asks you the same shit. And since there's a lot of people in hip-hop media that maybe want to tell you how to rap or tell you how to act, I wonder if you have any feedback the other way. I wonder if you have any criticisms of rap media.
That's a pretty good question. No, I think all of you guys pretty much do a phenomenal job.
I'm not sure I believe you.
I think you guys represent the culture. I think you guys help to move it forward. And I haven't seen anything ever reported false or inaccurate with any of you guys.
It sounds patronizing when you say that, Joe.
A little bit.
When things used to boil over in hip-hop, it would be about the lyrics, and it would be about the cosigns, and it would be about the occasional face-to-face. Now you kind of need to understand the internet. You need to have like a multimedia 360-degree strategy when it comes to these things.
You gotta be ready to go against fucking Apple's marketing team.
How do you think an artist like Eminem or another great punchline artist from that era would fare these days? Do you think that they could keep up?
Good question. All right, let's see. The MCs would always fare well. 10 years from now, when I don't know how music sounds, same way I didn't know how my phone would operate 10 years ago, the MCs will still be able to MC.
As we've talked about this whole time, you're one of our day one fans. We've been trying to work this out for so long, and finally you're here.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's a great thing, but it's also kind of a bad thing because in some way you have to be a little let down by your experience here. You have to be disappointed in some way. It's probably something you were hoping I'd ask you about that I didn't, or some way that you thought it was gonna go that it didn't. I want you to take a bite, reflect, and if you were to do this differently, in what ways are you disappointed in Hot Ones now that you're here, okay?
That might be the best question that's asked.
Okay. How did we let you down, Bert?
I thought there would be beer. I thought you'd definitely have beer for me, and I could write off getting drunk to working.
I heard you met an ex-girlfriend on MySpace who was not only a stripper.
How the hell did you know that shit? Okay.
How do the kids in junior high treat the kid who wears a suit to school every day? Is that a cool thing to do, or do they tease you? Do they make fun of you?
It's a great question. You know, I've had my fair share of kids used to throw gum in my hair.
They used to throw gum in
Look
your
at me
hair.
now, motherfucker. I'm eating very hot wings.
Big up, Puff, because that was my favorite restaurant, Justin's. I don't know if people know.
I heard that
went
you used to break glasses on the floor.
Oh, yo, listen, this guy's fucking. A lot of people don't understand that the reason why I came here is because he's like N.O.R.E. Like N.O.R.E. knows shit that nobody else don't know. Sean Evans is the best fucking host on the internet.
What did Def Jam Vendetta get wrong about your fighting style?
Oh, man. I forgot how good you are in your interviewing skills. I'm actually a good knockout
You're a knockout guy.
in my past life.
Shaq? Padma and Shaq?
Yes. You picked some good juicy ones.
I did? Of all the animal testicles that you've eaten in your life, I want to unpackage this Honey G thing for a second. These characters kind of pop up in the United States every once in a while too. You'll see like Slim Jesus flare up, or on the other side of the spectrum, even somebody like Maddie B, and it gets harder and harder every day, it seems, to parcel what authenticity even is in hip hop anymore.
That's a good question, because even, you know, if Honey G was as corny as she was in terms of musically, as long as she was being herself, I wouldn't care. And I understand this is entertainment, and sometimes people glamorize things and, you know, they might spice things up. But at the end of the day, when the curtain comes down, you need to ask yourself, was you the best you?
One of my favorite projects that you did is it's Grime Up North.
Okay.
I know that you're big on finding guys that no one else has discovered yet.
My nose is running.
That's good, that's
Crazy.
Good. But I want to relate that now to food. If you were to do that project over again, and instead of looking for the rappers that no one has found yet, and instead you're looking for the regional dishes that you love the most, which ones would you feature?
Oh, that's a great one. So if I could travel up north and show off some food, I'd go to Yorkshire for a great traditional British roast. I'd go to Liverpool, get some gravy and chips. I can't even talk, bro. This is wild. How are you even talking?
What am I gonna do? Just sit here silently? Who's gonna watch my show?
Crazy. And then probably go to Scotland. Get some haggis.
Do you have an opinion on the American versus Lafayette chili dog situation?
First of all, I applaud you for even knowing that that is the civil war that exists in Detroit. But yes, we are a Lafayette family.
MCs, I think, used to be really influenced by superheroes, and even like Method Man and MF Doom, those sound like comic book characters. Do you think that that's sort of been washed away? And if so, do you think that there's some other thing that's bubbling up and filling that void?
That's a good question, because you don't really hear too many comic book references.
You used to hear them all the time.
You used to hear them all the time. I think it's because people play the streets too close. So all of their material is coming from like what's going on in the hoods. Like back in the day, the artists were like a lot more creative, so they were like literally rapping about any and everything. Like you'd hear kung fu references, you'd hear comic book references, you'd hear like great sitcom references. Now everything is about the trap. Nobody read no comic books in the trap.
So in your book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, you talk about how the shipping industry could save billions of dollars if they shipped in spheres rather than boxes. Because I read the book on Saturday, so it's still fresh in my mind. What are the biggest mistakes reality TV stars make when they experience overnight celebrity?
Oh, wow, what a good question. Don't be like, oh, this is my new life, I'm a superstar, this is gonna last forever, because it's not. I would say keep your day job if you're on a reality show, don't be a dick.
You know, when you think about these songs that come out by the
Yes.
Housewives, whether it's Google Me
Yeah.
or what's a good one? Money Can't Buy You Class.
Very good.
Which one of your celebrity friends smokes the best weed?
Oh wow, that's a good question.
I took like a big hit. Willie Nelson.
Okay.
Tom Ford. Naomi
God,
Watts,
which of my
Durant,
celebrity
Diddy,
friends
Vanessa Hudgens,
has the
Madonna,
best
Lady
weed?
Gaga, Madonna.
Yeah, everyone I'm thinking of is like, Andy, do you have any pot? Yeah, they all fucking take my weed. I'm the guy that gets all the pot.
It's important to pay homage to those who've paved the way. So what I want to do is bounce some of the most legendary figures in the field off of you, and then just get your snap reaction to them. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, laptop,
That's awesome,
please.
because I love that you brought up that question, because you always have to talk about where you get your inspiration from.
Mhm.
You know, I love that.
If you could work with any animal that you haven't already, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've done a shoot with a snake. What was I gonna say? An elephant.
What was the most savage off-camera prank that was ever pulled
Oh
on you?
man, what a great question that is. There was the one that was actually on camera, but little known about because it lived on an obscure DVD that I put up on myself. I filmed myself ejaculating onto the computer keyboard and desk of the most germophobic producer of Jackass back in the early days of the TV show. And then I wanted to go in there and film him just typing away, you know. But my blabbermouth, I had told too many people until he found out about it and really forensically cleaned everything. So when I went to film him, I filmed him giving me the most hilarious lecture ever, you know. Soon enough, as you're on your way back to Florida, when reality finally said something, man, there's a lot of stuff I could have been doing when I was too busy jacking off on Scott's desk, yeah.
Steve-O, as we've discussed today, you're a man who has long had Hollywood dreams, and through
Oh, yeah.
swimming with sharks and jumping off of buildings and putting hooks through your face, you've been able to realize those dreams. You really are a living example of how you can do anything you want in this world, and that's coming from a guy who eats chicken wings on YouTube.
Holy shit, I'm like, where the fuck is the teleprompter? This guy is good. I'm like,
I'm reading it, it's all on your shirt.
Dude, you're an impressive talent. I'm impressed by you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Speaking of Harlem icons, do you fuck with nutcrackers?
Oh, you've been in Harlem, huh? Yeah, you been to the mommy spot?
No, you don't have to take me.
Yeah, Nutcracker. I definitely fuck with the Nutcrackers.
When you think about all the times that you've been name-checked in rap lyrics, which one's your favorite?
Wow, that's a great question. J. Cole shouted me out on his last album, which went double platinum. That was pretty cool. Drake did on his last album.
Bustin' Road Flows.
Yeah. A lot of my friends love that one. So yeah, you listen to these guys and they throw your name out there, it makes you feel pretty established. Man, that was amazing.
Dude, thank you so much,
Great
man.
questions you asked.
If you ever have the courage to go through it again.
Oh yeah, I would recommend all my friends to come on this show.
Which country made you most hopeful for the future of civilization?
Wow, that's a great question. Walking the streets of Tehran and having people stop me with perfect English. Like, why are you here? Where are you from? I'm from America. Wow, you're here alone? Yeah, why? So I've always wanted to come to Iran. Thank you for coming here. Please don't kill us. Where you see that they want the future. I go, what about your government? They're like, yeah, what about your government? Yeah, I know. Where all of a sudden you have things in common. And so I have found in a lot of my travels, a lot of hopefulness, where you find a lot of people are, they want what you want. You know, clean water, a day without conflict, basically a fistful of 50s in a day without fear, as they say.
What's something that you hear EDM fans complain about that makes you roll your eyes?
Okay, I like that. This is something that actually pisses me off a lot, and I think it pisses off a lot of artists, where fans will always be like, man, I miss the old Dillon Francis. Jay-Z's already talked about this a long time ago, where if you listen to my old music, you'll be happy again. But it's obnoxious when those fans keep saying that to any new release, and then if you release something that sounds like the old version of you, they'll just say, oh, this sounds like the old version of Dillon Francis. I don't really like this that much. I try not to complain anymore, or even give it the time of day where it's just like, all right, cool. Go complain in a thread on Reddit. I don't care.
You were actually in a movie called Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yes. Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
That's the Hot Ones difference right there, Dillon Francis. Besides your assistant, Teddy, which Stern staffer did you fight with most often?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Probably Gary. When he threw out that first pitch and I goofed on him, he was mad about it. He goes, oh, it was really mean. I'm like, are you talking to the same guy? When I call in dying of heroin withdrawals, you play it on the air. So you throw out a first pitch like one of the Olsen twins and I can't fucking make fun of it?
So when you were coming up and you were doing a gig in Cincinnati, whatever you would say, it would just be between you and maybe the 300 to 400 people in the comedy club.
Right.
And these days now, every punchline can go from a smartphone to a Twitter firestorm in a matter of minutes. Is that a death nail for the modern comedian? Do you ever think about it?
Yes, I do. That's a great question. And that is preventing people from taking risks. You don't take risks, you'll have the same 7 minutes. And it's sickening. It used to be like true art in the sense that it's just you and those people in a room. I say what I got to say to get off stage and get paid, but now it's the whole world in a room.
And then too, you've leaned into some things that have become no-fly zones in popular culture. Have you ever been checked by another comedian on it, or is it just sort of Twitter, armchair pundits, the public that are up in arms?
It's funny, that's a great question, because Bob Schimmel told me, some of what you do is just for the shock thing. I'm like, I know. Like, I never claimed to be some great comic. I'm good enough at it to make some sort of living. I don't want to be known as a good comic. I don't want to be on any lists, because then you have to answer questions that is going to show me to be a fraud. Some of the best questions I've ever been asked, that's for sure. You're a good guy.
Next pick, we have Wale with fellow DC icon Vernon Davis, who was also in the Sabotage video.
Mm-hmm.
If I have my shit right.
Yeah, this is great research. If more people did their research like you, I promise you, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't be going.
I wouldn't have many. These outbursts would be like far and few between, for sure.
I appreciate that. Whose opinion do you respect more, Anthony Fantano or DJ Academics?
Y'all they can do it. We not gonna slow clap them. His questions are good though, and I do believe that you care about the culture. I do believe that. I'm sure, and that's not being sarcastic. I think you really care about the culture. Some people are in it for personal gain.
I directed a movie when I was 21 about my nephew having his face reconstructed.
Oh, you won.
Hold on, that makes me hungry.
You won a Student Academy Award for that.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
I've been reading about you for the last
smart.
couple of days. Up first, would you rather have a receding
hairline or a proceeding hairline?
hairline?
I couldn't get over that one when we wrote it.
Winona Ryder, would you?
Oh, they're really good.
Great Expectations, A Tale of Two Cities, and David Copperfield. Do you enjoy a good Dickens?
Who was that too? I do love a good Dickens.
So I think that it's natural to kick things off in your pre-rap days when you were working in the kitchen making drums and flats at Wingstop.
Bro!
Yes,
How do you know about that?
And then there must be something about Montgomery County and rappers and Seinfeld, because just like Wale, you know, I see you with the Seinfeld tees and stuff, and then you had that great line from Growing Pains where you say, you see these Seinfeld rappers talking a whole lot of nothing. Do you feel a special affinity towards Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, and if so, does it inform the music at all?
Bro, I'm so fucking impressed with these questions. Thank you, man. Sometimes you do interviews and motherfuckers don't really take the time to so it means thank you. You know, I've heard a lot of people say this, especially Chappelle. I think every comedian wants to be a rapper and every rapper wants to be a stand-up comedian in some way. I just feel like my life is one long Curb episode of a bunch of shit that's going crazy and I don't know how to deal with it.
So last year you launched a YouTube gaming channel, and I've heard you brag about logging 70 hours in a week and a half to beat Watcher 3. As a musician and producer, which video game do you think has the best original music?
Oh, shit. Nobody's ever asked me anything like that. Chrono Trigger is one, and then if we're talking more up to date, pretty sure Hans Zimmer did the Modern Warfare 2, but no, I gotta go Chrono Trigger.
So did you talk to Eminem? Do you remember?
Yeah, I talked to him. I was there. What kind of question? Yeah, I talked to him. What do you mean?